anthem. I'm like, this kid sang the national anthem.
They didn't allow the parents inside because they really meant business. They wanted to see that the kids weren't being coached or signaled by their parents.
She starts singing Vision of Love, 25 people in a line, no parents in the room, just me, and she sang the entire song and hit every note, riffed, belted, did everything. And when it was over, there was like stunned silence in the room. And then all the kids just started applauding and clapping and going nuts.
Christina nailed round one of the audition. Next came a one-on-one meeting with Matt.
She had a little case of all of her cassettes.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that suitcase. Yeah, this brown little suitcase that we carried around that just had, you know, the standard stuff people actually wanted to hear.
She opened it up and she said, "What do you want to hear?" And I said, "What do you got?" And literally, I'm not kidding you, she had about 50 songs she had memorized.
Christina wowed Casella, but there was one little problem.
She was underage, and we didn't know it because they didn't specify the age limits.
The folks at Disney didn't know what I had gone through and what I had seen. I went back and really, really, really pushed to put her on the show that year. I just couldn't do it. Because of the rules, I guess there's strict rules with child labor laws.
Showbiz, Christina learned, wasn't just about talent. And in 1991, the 10-year-old faced another fact of life. Her mom began seeing paramedic Jim Kearns.
When I first began dating, you know, it was kind of fun. Oh, cool, mom's dating. Then when I met Jim and little by little things started getting serious, my children became She-Ra out there trying to be a defender of the universe. It was hard because of their background.
Christina may have played it tough at home, but her talent and charisma were about to get her run out of town. Coming up, and now it's time to say goodbye.
Good heavens. I mean, Christina and Brittany would just cling and cry.
When did this voice, this big voice, come from this little girl? When did this start, Christina?
Oh, ever since I was a baby, I loved to sing.
By 1992, 11-year-old Christina Aguilera was a singing sensation in her hometown of Pittsburgh. She was also a sixth-grade pariah. The terrible jealousy Christina felt from her classmates took a vicious turn.
There was a girl who kind of had her little posse or whatever that was grades older than me, and they like threatened to, you know, slash my mom's tires and the whole thing. It was just, you know, and it really hurt my mom.
I remember that when she was still in Rochester, we had to watch that group of girls because they would go behind stage when it was Christina's turn and actually try to unplug amps.
It's just that thing that just goes to show you, it's like once you get somewhere, there's always going to be people that just want to knock you down, just to get at you, you know, just to make you feel like, oh, well, you're not that special.
She began to have nightmares, and it was just getting scary for me. I mean, she'd be late at class every day because I would time just when the bell rang because she had threats coming out the ears from this group of girls. I would actually time it so that she would go right into class so nobody could jump her.
By late fall, Christina and her mother were fed up with the harassment.
I still call it the mini mafia. That little ring of people who made our life so hellish that she had nightmares that we had to actually leave my hometown where I was born and raised.
Shelley packed up the girls and moved to Wexford, Pennsylvania, to be with her boyfriend, Jim Kearns.
As soon as we got to Wexford area, she got the call from the Mickey Mouse Club.
Said, "Shelley, I'm not going to Pittsburgh, I'm going to Cincinnati. Get in the car if you can and drive Christina over here and let me get her on tape and audition her again. And I can pretty much guarantee you she'll get on the show."
So, of course, we piled in the car, and by that time I was living with Jim. And we just took off.
I brought the tapes back, showed it to everyone at Disney. Everyone was in full agreement. She needs to go to the camp. The Mickey Mouse Club camp was a 3-day process where the executives at Disney interviewed the parents as the kids were being sort of worked with and taught songs and dance routines.
It was actually really, really great at that time because for the first time in my life, I was kind of thrown in with a bunch of kids that, oh my God, they like doing the same things that I like to do.
Nikki Deloach was one of the 24 kids at the casting camp.
Initially, she was shy. She had glasses. She just sat and she would eat lunch by herself, and then she would sing. And all of a sudden, when she would open her mouth to sing, it was like, where is this coming from?
Out of 10,000 kids, 7 of them got on the show.
Including Nikki, Christina and 2 other young guns were also poised for the big time. Justin Timberlake, and Britney Spears. Then in the spring of 1993, Shelley, Rachel, and 12-year-old Christina moved to Orlando, Florida for the 6th season of the Mickey Mouse Club. With a cast of 18 kids, the 7 freshman Mouseketeers quickly bonded.
Brittany, Christina, and I shared a dressing room together. Brittany and Christina were very close right off the bat. They were pretty much about the same age, and I was kind of like the big sister.
The experience we both had on the television show at such a young age, I think it just, you know, there was nothing that was bad about it. I mean, we all were there, and we all loved what we were doing.
It was great just to be in with a bunch of kids that just loved doing what I did, and there was no, like, animosity towards each other. It's like we were all in there together. We were like a team in a way.
We were more concerned with how could we get a free milkshake in the theme park.
That's what Justin was thinking about.
Yeah. Well, that's not the only thing I was thinking about.
Oh!
Each Mouseketeer played a specific role. Brittany and Mickey were dancers. Christina, with her powerhouse voice, was a featured singer.
When Christina started like coming out as a person and showing her personality, the first thing that would come to mind is she's just a little diva. She had that attitude in her walk, the way she performed, the way she sang. It was just, you know, it was this confidence.
However, it was during Christina's 2nd season on the Mickey Mouse Club when she really started to shine.
Because I'm such a fan of singers and people who can, you know, just down and out sing. That was the one thing that always stood out for me about Christina. You know, I just remember when I was 12, I was like, that voice is going to be a big voice one day.
We were performing in front of a live audience. That's when it seemed like she really started to fall into her place as a performer. And it was really great to watch.
But the good times didn't last. In 1994, after 7 seasons, the Mickey Mouse Club was canceled. Suddenly, Christina was out of a job.
I think we were all a little devastated. It was sad, you know.
Good heavens. I mean, Christina and Brittany would just cling and cry.
This was the beginning of everything for her. When they told us it was over, it was kind of like, well, what am I going to do now? Do I have to go back home? Do I have to go back to all of that?
In November 1994, Christina returned to Wexford, Pennsylvania as a full-time student at Marshall Middle School. Different town, different school, same old problem. Jealous classmates. Cheryl Gurgiolo was one of Christina's few friends.
What I did see in middle school were children saying some things that were very nice about her, mainly thinking that she's stuck up or just because she's singing that she's better than everyone, when in fact she was just trying to be herself.
By 1995, 14-year-old Christina Aguilera felt a little lost. In May, her mother married paramedic Jim Kearns, bringing a sense of stability to the family. 1 year later, Shelley gave birth to a son, Michael Kearns. Meanwhile, Christina remained very much the outsider at school.
If they would be like, well, you know, sing for us, and I'd be like, okay, because I didn't want to deal with the opposite end, they'd be like, oh, well, look, she's showing off again. You know, it was just like a double-edged sword. Like, I couldn't win either way.
Shelley did not want to see Christina bullied again.
Cry. She wanted this so bad. I'm going to get emotional over this. I'm surprised. She wanted this so bad. And, you know, I said, honey, I don't know. I can't explain why I know this deep inside, but I know you're going to make it.
She began homeschooling her 15-year-old daughter.
That is when things really started taking off with her music, and that is when Christina really became focused.
What Christina wanted more than anything else was to return to the spotlight. She recorded a demo which included the song Just Be Free, but nothing happened.
I made this cake for her because I felt so bad. And she was watching, I think, Mariah accept an award or something, and she started...
We decided it was time to look for management and representation out of New York, and so that was the next step because I wanted to get a record deal.
In 1997, 16-year-old Christina signed with manager Steve Kurtz. Kurtz didn't waste any time booking Aguilera.
A lot of things happened rather quickly right in the beginning. She had the chance to work with a pop star that was one of the top pop stars in Japan. And his name is Keizo Nakanishi, sweetest man. We ended up flying over to Japan so that she could record with him. And ended up going back later, by the way, to be part of his tour.
Christina returned from the tour and immediately began work on a new demo with the producer-songwriter team of Rob Hoffman and Heather Hawley.
First time I met her, I spoke to her on the phone, and we just kind of were checking each other out and seeing if we would all be able to work together.
We talked about the need for a big ballad to showcase her voice, and Heather said,
well, I am working on this song called Obvious. We'll put it together and put it on a tape and send it to you. And she said, no, I want to hear it right now.
And we had this like junky electric piano in the corner, and Heather starts playing it, and I held the phone up to her, and immediately, like by the time she got to the first chorus, Christina was like, that's it, that's the song I want, I want to sing that one.
She came from Pittsburgh to LA to record the demo. We recorded 5 songs in 5 days. Very fast paced for any singer, especially a young singer like that.